It's Friday and we're going to start circuit training up again. I'm going to do at least 2 rounds getting back into it, possibly 3, but the goal is to at least do 2. We're going to start out with some band flies. And on a contraction, you do a brief hold. See, hold. They burn pretty good. The brief pause brings a little bit of isometrics into the exercise. Now, today, instead of doing shoulder press with the kettlebells, we're going to try something a little different. Now, I believe it's pronounced Spencer Graziano. I'm sure he'll correct me if that's wrong. Hopefully he'll correct me if it's wrong. But you need to go check out his channel. He does some really impressive stuff, and he incorporates a bunch of isometrics. Now, I've always had issues with my shoulders. If I do too much, I'll get into all kinds of pain and not be able to continue exercising. Shoulder press has always been a problem. Barbell press in particular. I've been able to get away with using dumbbells because, not dumbbells, kettlebells, because the shoulder rotation is different. If you look at the shoulder is open when you do a barbell, but when you're doing a kettlebell, it's closed. It's a different shoulder rotation, and your shoulder is in a much safer position. But he's been doing some isometrics on shoulder press, and that's what we're going to try today. The weight isn't heavy. I just have 95 pounds on the bar, but it's not about the weight. You push the bar up against these other hooks, the top hooks, and that stops the bar, so you're still putting in the max effort. So we're going to give that a try today and see how I like the exercise. If it can give a good benefit in the shoulder press without actually having to do the full barbell motion, it's something that I just might be able to do and get some improvement out of. I think on the next go around, I'm going to add some weight. Next is going to be curls. Since I may only do 2 sets, I'm going to do the 30s, start with the 30s instead of the 25s. Before I was going 25, 35, 45, so I'll go 30 and then 45 today. also been at least 3 weeks since I've done circuit training because of having the flu and then having all those breathing issues afterwards. See if you can see that. Next is going to be skull crushers. Since I haven't done these for a while, I'm going to start out with 75 pounds today. Time for the second round. Let's see. That'll work. You can still hear some coughing going on. And a little bit of congestion. Whatever this thing was just horrible. Getting quite a bit harder in the second round. Let's go for more of a side view this time. Okay, I took the 25s off and put 35 pounders on. So that would have been 95, 105, 115. Like I said, I don't think the weight itself is going to be so important on this because the bar is hitting the bottom of the J hooks and stopping. So no matter what the weight is, it's a max effort pushing the bar up against those hooks. The weight may be more just to, I'm going to say, monitor progress. That the heavier weight that you can hold up against those J hooks, you must be making some progress. So I think I'll look at the weight that way. Now I do have to have a wider stance on these. These are at the top hole, and it's still a little bit too short. My problem with the barbell movements is at the bottom of the range of motion. So for example, I can't do a front squat because I cannot rack the bar. My shoulders and my geometry of my arms physically will not let me get the bar in a position on my shoulders. That felt better than the 25s. And with the 2 sets that I've done so far, I don't feel any discomfort in my shoulders. Even if I was doing shoulder presses with the kettlebells, there would be some minor discomfort, but nothing like what would happen if I did a barbell shoulder press. So this may be a good exercise for me to work in, and I'll probably do it for the next few weeks, and then maybe try doing a week of kettlebells instead, and kind of do some alternating back and forth. And I'll have to see if I do a 1-for-1, or if I do 2 isometrics, and then 1 kettlebell, and back and forth that way. That'll be to be determined. I have no idea at this point. All right. 45s. Well, that's 10 each arm. That was difficult. 45-pound dumbbells is as high as they go in this gym. That's why when I do dumbbell rows on Thursdays, I bring in my own short barbell that takes Olympic weights so that I can get whatever weight I want on there. That barbell's probably going to be too long. I've never tried doing curls with it. All right, let's move over for another set of skull crushers. right. I think I'm going to go for a third round. I don't feel that bad. A little bit on the breathing, but not too bad. All right, I think that'll work. Just need a drink of water. I just want to leave the camera on the whole time. That way you see how much rest is taken and how long the whole workout lasts. All right. I'm gonna take a step closer. Running out of steam on this third set. It's one of the things about bands. Like there, I couldn't make 15 on the third set. So I could take a step closer, or a half a step closer, to decrease the resistance so that I can finish my set, get a good burn, get a heavy fatigue on the muscle. That third set did it. The chest is now spent. Now, like I said, I moved just 8 inches closer to reduce the resistance. The opposite is also true. If it's too easy, you can move a little farther away, get more stretch on the bands, which equals more resistance. Okay, we're gonna try the side profile again on the shoulder isos. Again, wide stance to lower myself down because this is too high. I'll be in a bad position for my shoulders at that height, where I have problems with barbell. That feels good. I like that exercise. gonna do the 45-pound dumbbells again. I don't expect to get as many reps on the third set. But we're still gonna do as many as we can. All right, 6 reps, 10 on the second set, only 6 on the third. Okay, last set of skull crushers. That last set was a challenge. If you haven't tried circuit training like this before, you should give it a shot. It's hard. It's good for cardio. I look at it as I get in all my auxiliary exercises, which otherwise are so easy to skip, and just concentrate on the mains, your main lifts, due to time constraints. But to set aside a day like this, just for all the auxiliaries, and make it something interesting, something fun, something different. Just as a side note, after finishing up and then trying to get changed, it was almost impossible to get my t-shirt off and to get this shirt on. That's how fatigued my upper body was. Trying to do anything was difficult. I guess when you get done lifting weights or doing a program like this, gives you a glimpse into what it must be like to get old. All right, we'll see you on the next one.